So I've recently talked to my kids about the Epstein files. Every morning I wake up, I take my kids to school after they get dressed and all that. It's about a 20-minute drive, 18-minute drive, but we listen to the news on the way there. We listen to the Morning Wire, which is about a 14-minute podcast. It just goes over the highlights of the news from the previous day. One of the days they were talking about Epstein and all that. Program ends and they asked me, well, what is that about? They heard generalities of what was happening. And so I explained it to him. I said, there was an island and a rich guy, and he had a lot of, powerful people over there where they would do bad things to children, and they would eat babies, and they did a lot of bad stuff over there. So they'd eat babies? Yeah. They would. That's what's rumored, at least. We would love to find out officially, but it's pretty confidently say they ate babies. Well, that's gross. Yeah, and it's probably not the worst thing they do. Well, something else I've always done with my kids, from Reagan, my oldest, the first day of school, as she's walking off to the doorways of her school, I would yell out to her, "Don't do drugs!" And I've yelled it to her and all my children every day they go to school. As they're leaving my car, I yell out, "Don't do drugs." Reagan, she's embarrassed is the wrong word, but maybe it's close. She's asked me, can you tell me that in the car? I said, no, I'm yelling that loud every day forever. So now she knows it's coming, and so playfully she scurries away. They used to, every time I'd say don't do drugs, they used to yell, "We won't." Reagan won't yell that anymore. She does the best she can to ignore it. Back to the Epstein files. So now as she's leaving the car, I'll say, "Hey, okay, don't do drugs." All right. Then I roll the window down and say, "All right, Reagan, don't eat babies." The first time I yelled that, she turned around, she looked stunned. My boys, they thought it was about the funniest thing ever. And so now it's every morning. I wake up, I tell them, don't do drugs. Or if we get to school, don't do drugs. Don't eat babies. And I yell it to them every day. So all of her teachers and all of her friends that are around can hear it. And I pray to God that my kids will never do drugs because of what I yell to them. And I also pray that every day my children never eat babies because of how I yell to them every morning.